Okay, there we go. All right, guys, if we could just make sure we're on mute so that if you have a lightning, how was that storm last night? Pretty wild, eh?
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah,
Absolutely
crazy.
crazy. Yeah. I mean, the thunder was like right above my house. My poor
Yeah,
cats were like beside themselves.
Yeah.
came out of nowhere.
Listen, I was besides myself. Okay, I don't know about your cats, but I
Playing
was.
like,
That was pretty intense. I was on my motorbike and then I had to stop at a place for a while. So, because it's just, yeah, it's
are
horrendous.
you joking?
Yeah, I was in Whitmead and then boom, it just happened. So I just sent a message to a friend saying, please meet me for dinner because I'm going nowhere. Uh, so it was actually quite cool because I met with him and we had a nice meal and, a bit of a catch up. And then around about like 9 o'clock or 8:30, the rain had stopped. So I managed to get home. Yeah, it's not
I don't
safe.
know if you noticed, but sorry, I was in bed last night by that point because, yeah, like I normally do early bed, but the week's been quite rough. And I found it was quite, there was a very specific calm after the storm. I don't know if you noticed as well. Like I was literally like, as it finished and then it dissipated, like it was like this dead calmness.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely. There was. And a beautiful smell after too. Probably, who knows if it's going to rain today? It kind of looks a bit overcast, so maybe.
Yeah, it does look a bit
Mm.
like it could. It's a bit late in the year to be raining, but
I'd hate to be a weather forecaster because it just seems like they're just not getting it right at all. But okay, let's start our meditation. So just placing 2 feet firmly on the ground, and you can put your hands in your lap or on your knees. And you can close your eyes or lower your gaze. You don't have to close your eyes, right? And I'm going to take us through very quickly a little summary, and then we'll get into, because I think the meditation is getting quite long now because there's so many aspects to it. All right, let's take in a nice deep inhalation, breathing in through the nose. Slowly breathing it out the nostrils with control. Let's do that again. Deep breath in. And slowly breathe it out the nose. Last calming breath in. And opening the mouth, gently sigh the breath out. A release. Okay, breathing naturally and normally. We start by being lost in a dark forest, and we managed to find a path into a meadow. And we saw our teacher standing there down at the river in a boat. We were so happy. We climbed in the boat with our teacher and we went to the other side of the river. And there was a staircase with big double doors. We opened the doors, and as we walk in, it's a triangular room. And there was a coffin in the room to the left. And in the corner, on the far left corner of the triangle, is a fire pit with a small fire. And to our right of the triangle is a red robe draped across a couch. We went to the coffin, we looked, and it's us lying in the coffin. We saw some dead insects, spiders, scorpions, centipedes, ugly stuff on the corpse's right side. On the left side, we saw gems, rubies, sapphires. The bugs are our bad karma. So we walk over to the fire and we throw those dead bugs in the fire and we purify that negative karma. And then we move to the other side where there was the cloak and we put it on, and magically the jewels jumped out of our hand and get absorbed into the robe. And this is an act of refuge. We open the door on the far side of the triangle and we move into a corridor. And on either side of the corridor are glass windows. And we see the suffering of the world as it is right now in many different parts of the world, even locally. We contemplated how so much in life is pain and is suffering. We open another door and we go in and we're in a mirror room. It's a 12-sided shape and there's reflections that fade off into infinity. And this is symbolic of whatever we do echoes into infinity from the past and the future. Understanding karma, what we planted before we are now reaping, and what we do now we will reap in the future, whether it's positive or negative. We go down into a sunken floor and we see these statues on narrow stands, and we carefully walk through them. It's careful that we don't break them. And this represents our vows to do good, our vows to ourselves and to others. We're careful not to break them. We climb up the stairs to a brilliant red door. We go in and we move into a 6-sided room made of exquisite teak paneling. We look down and we see golden arrows on the floor, scrolling, pointing the way to the middle of the room. We follow them carefully. We stop, we look around, and then you look up. And hanging from the ceiling is an incense holder. And there's a lighter hanging off it. And it's just the right height for you to reach up, get the lighter, and light the incense. It reminds me of those old church frankincense holders. And we see how strange it would be to reach our enlightenment, our own paradise, and everybody else in the world is still suffering. How could we truly be liberated if everybody else is suffering? Magically, the arrows on the floor reverse direction and guide us back to the entrance. And there we turn around and we watch the smoke start to fill the room. It's not so heavy, but just enough to have a beautiful and fragrant scent. The smoke represents our feeling of the greater way in the form of a wish. As the smoke fills the room, going into every nook and cranny, you feel that the greater way, Mahayana, serving beings as part of your journey to enlightenment, is the way. And your teacher gives you vows of bodhisattva. Bodhisattva means a spiritual warrior. And you say, I will attain enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. And at this point, I will sing the refuge prayer in Tibetan, which basically means, may I attain absolute bliss and clarity and enlightenment as quickly as possible, so that I may be of benefit to all. And I'll sing it in Tibetan. Sangye chodang soki chognam la, chanchu badu dagni kyapsu chi, dagi jinso gipe sunam ki, rola penche sangye drupa sho. Sangye chodang soki chognam la, chanchu badu dagni kyapsu chi, dagi jinso gipe sunam ki, Rola penche sangye drupa shu, sangye chodang soki chognam la, janju badu dagni kyapsu chi, dagi janzo gibe sonam ki, rola penche sangye drupa shu. Making a commitment, even if it's just vague, is what we do. We turn around to our left and again face the door, and there's a niche in the wall to the left of the door, and it contains 4 small packages of different sizes. You pick up the smallest one and you open it, and you see a $100 bill, which represents the perfection of giving material things. Material things are not bad, but perhaps the easiest to give, and in the case of money, easily spent and gone. Next to that package is another one, and it's a larger package, and it's a deed to a house. This is symbolic of physical protection. This represents the perfection of giving, protection from fear of not having a safe place to sleep, safe food to eat, and safe water to drink. We open the third box, which is slightly larger. It's a Valentine and a bottle of medicine. You realize that these represent the perfection of giving love, making someone happy. The Valentine and perfection of giving compassion, the medicine, taking away someone's suffering. And we reflect that these first three gifts are wonderful in many, many ways, but only temporarily. And there's one box left. We open it, and it is the heart teachings of the Buddha. We realize that this is the beginning of true protection. They represent the perfection of giving others the teachings, or sharing the teachings with others, the highest gift of all. You close the boxes and you put them back in the niche. You step back from the wall and turn to your left and cross to the second wall. And as you start to walk to the second wall, you notice that the lights get a little bit brighter. This represents your commitment to the perfection of giving. You walk across to the second wall, which has a niche with a beautiful bonsai tree. Unlike most bonsai trees, which are juniper or cypress, this is a weeping willow. This represents our vows. The roots are our freedom vows. The trunk are the vows to become enlightened for all beings. And the branches represent tantric vows. The weeping willow with its leaves and branches coming down to cover the roots which are exposed on a gnarly rock represents the fact that the tantric vows encompass all of our vows. Without the roots, the trunk and leaves won't grow. Without the trunk and roots, the leaf cannot get sustenance. You turn to your left, and as you walk away from the wall, lights get a bit brighter, and this represents your commitment to the perfection of morality. You walk to a third wall, which is a niche that is 6 feet tall and 6 feet wide. You walk through the opening, and magically you are situated near a small lake. As a log big enough to sit out just pops out of the water, you sit down on the log. And we remember a statement from Master Shantideva about not getting angry, not responding ignorantly, just act like a bump on a log. And when you realize this, the pond instantly becomes mirror smooth. You realize that you can calm your mind and get it ready for meditation because you're not responding or reacting ignorantly. You get up, walk past the pond, out of the niche, and as you start walking towards wall number 4, the lights get slightly brighter, representing your commitment to the perfection of not getting angry. You could also call it the perfection of patience. Okay, we will end that visualization right there. Let's take in another deep inhalation, breathing in through the nose. And slowly breathe it out the mouth. Okay, so just to recap, we are going through what is called the Lam Rim. It is a very ancient teaching compiled by a monk who lived in the 13th century, and his name is Tsongkhapa. And he went into a cave, and he had like some kind of natural acid trip where the angel Manjushri appeared to him and said, dude, here is the complete list of the Buddha's teachings in a very good order, in the perfect order. And after a month of being there, he wrote it all down. He came out of the cave and he shared it with his fellow monkeys or monks. What do you call them? Monks, not monkeys. And they were astounded. They were like, how did you put this together? This is a work of art. This is sheer brilliance. I mean, it's step by step, starting from the beginning and all the way through to full enlightenment. And they called it liberation in the palm of your hand. It's a really beautiful thing, liberation in the palm of your hand, the Lam Rim, steps on the gradual steps on the path to enlightenment. Basically, Tsongkhapa helped us to put the teachings in our hand, right? Like, there it is. So we didn't have to go scratching around, trying to piece things together. He said, there it is. This is the path. So I just wanted to share my screen with you and take you through what we did now. So there's the meadow, there's like the jungle we were lost in, then there's the river, the stairs, there's the triangle room, Okay. Then we moved into the hall with suffering on either side of the windows. And then we moved into that 12-sided shaped glass room with reflections that go on into infinity, representing karma. There's a sunken floor with statues that we could knock over. Because if we break our commitments to ourselves and others, well, that then generates negative karma. But if we keep those commitments, that is brilliant karma and keeps us moving forward, right? Now, we've moved into the red part of the journey, room D, and we are talking about what is called the 6 perfections, okay? The 6 perfections. It's 6 things that we can do that mean a lot in terms of attaining the karma that we need to get enlightened. Okay, don't forget, for all beings. Okay, otherwise it's a bit of a selfish journey. And the triangle is blue because these are people of lesser scope. They just want to stop suffering in this life for themselves. Okay, I don't want to have bad days anymore. I don't want to have cuck in my life. Like, how can I live a better life so that I don't create more problems for myself? Okay, that's here. Then we move into the yellow, where this is medium scope. And the thing is, practitioners here go, I don't want the cuck of this life, but I know that there are future lives as well, and I don't want trouble in my future lives too. So the difference between the yellow and the blue is that the blue people here, they don't necessarily believe in reincarnation or future lives or something like that. Okay? Whereas the people in this part, they do. So they think, oh, whatever I'm experiencing now must have come from a past life. I don't want to cause trouble for myself in future lives as well, not only just in this life too. Okay? So it's really based a lot on morality, because we know that if we are immoral in this life, we're going to hurt others and hurt ourselves. Okay? So then we start to, I think we only got sort of halfway around. We lit the incense here, and now we're moving around. Okay? So I didn't take us on the full journey of all. Oh, sorry, I'm pointing at the wrong room. We're in the red room. Okay? So it's got 6 sides to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that represents the 6 perfections. Okay, so it's quite an ingenious way to help us remember the full scope of the Lamb Rim. Obviously, if you wanted to learn the full scope of the Lamb Rim, you would become a nun and study it for 20 years. And that's how long it takes. Okay, but we're doing the Lamb Rim light. Okay, the Lamb Rim light. So it's like just planting really good understanding and good seeds as to what the entire Buddhist path looks like. And this incorporates all Buddhism from Thailand, Burma, Japan, Tibet, China. Not so much Buddhism in China, because the Chinese government are trying to like kill it as best they can, because it's a threat to communism. So they don't really like people empowering themselves and becoming spiritual. They see the Dalai Lama as a terrorist, and if the Dalai Lama ever stepped foot in Tibet or China, they would arrest him and probably throw him into jail for the rest of his life. Do you see the Dalai Lama as a terrorist? Well, he's encouraging freedom of thought, and he's encouraging that, communism is not a spiritual path, right? Anyway, I've never really been in a communist country. I mean, I've visited, but I'm not sure. I think in essence, the theory is good, but it's just as corrupt as any other sort of political framework, right? So anyway, this is the thing. It incorporates every Buddhist country's belief in Buddhism and the path to enlightenment, which is pretty cool. Are there any comments or questions? Debbie, have you ever been to a Buddhist country?
I've been to Thailand.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I would easily go back there again.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Nice.
I
Nice.
went backpacking for a month.
Yo, fabulous.
Yeah,
Oh, that is so cool. A month. I mean, that's a long time.
yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I suppose you visited temples and stuff like that.
yeah. Obviously, I was walking then, and there was no health issue then. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was in 2000, I think.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also went traveling around that time. Backpacked around India for 6 months and then
Okay.
Nepal for another 6 months. That was cool.
Yeah, I would have loved that.
Sure. Yeah, mind blowing. Hey, mind blowing, and had no money really, so it was
Yeah.
shoestring budgets.
I was just retrenched at that time. So I thought, oh,
Really?
screw that. I'm going backpacking. And
Wow.
so my best friend and I went and did that.
I bet you don't regret that.
No, not at all.
Amazing.
Obviously, when you get home, then you think, shit, what am I doing now?
I know that feeling. Came back from
Yeah,
a year of backpacking with nothing, and then you went, oh shit, now what? You know? But
yeah,
amazing how life works. Always find something and get going with something again.
no, absolutely.
Yeah. It's at that point that I moved into a Buddhist temple in Joburg.
Oh my
And,
word.
yeah, with no money, but like, in service of the temple. So I managed to get enough
Yes.
to eat and to live, which was good. Yeah. So, okay, cool. Andrea, I know that you've been to Buddhist countries, Himalayas, Nepal.
Beautiful. I'm planning to go again next year. I just love Nepal. It's just
Oh,
there's something so calm and peaceful and spiritual about it. Like we went backpacking in the Himalayas, my sister and I, for 3 weeks, and it was just phenomenal. And
That
then
must be
I enjoy
amazing.
India as well. So
yeah.
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 And I've been to Thailand. But that
Mm.
was more like a fun holiday.
With beaches and stuff.
Yeah, we had like 4 girls and we did like fun stuff, and yeah, we did visit a lot of temples and things, and then went to the beaches, did sightseeing, that kind of
Oh,
stuff. So
nice.
yeah,
Exquisite. Well,
yeah,
amazing. And I think going to these countries like opens your mind to other ideas, other philosophies. I always feel for
Yeah.
people that have never traveled to, like people go to Europe or they go to the States or, they travel to sort of Western framework countries where it's pretty same in terms of our ideas and philosophies and the way we see the world, capitalism, whatever. But then you go to other countries where it's so different and it really does open your mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I thought I could maybe explain some of the
sorry, Mark, before you get into that, can I just
yeah.
ask a quick question? Can you just explain, so you've explained the blue and the yellow, like what it meant. Can you just explain the red,
Oh,
like
sorry,
what is the view of the red?
did I not explain that? That's unmindful of me. Sorry.
So
So
you said there was the Six Perfections, which is obviously the first
mm,
room, but I just wanted to understand the thinking behind the red.
absolutely. So the red part on the map, which we've just entered into now, is where practitioners want to attain enlightenment. They want to end suffering in this life as well. They want to end suffering. So that's blue. Then yellow, they also want to end suffering in future lives as yellow. And then red, they want to end suffering for all beings. So those are three very distinct schools of Buddhism. One is like, I just want to practice so that I don't cause any more problems for myself and others in this life. I want to practice because I want to avoid any future problems. And I want to practice for the first two, plus I don't want to see my family, my friends, I don't want to see anybody suffer. And I want to do what it takes so that I can help them. And their argument is like, how can you be fully enlightened and completely blissed out in your paradise when there's still realms and realms of pain? Interestingly enough, that brings us to the question, well, I don't really want to spend my heaven or my bliss in nirvana having to slog every day to pick people out of the gutter. That doesn't sound like fun. Okay. Some people might think, wow, an eternity of just having to work. Like, I'm tired of working. I want to retire. I want to rest in peace, right? So there are practitioners that do rest in peace. They go into nirvana. It's a state of absolute bliss, and they stay there. But the highest ideal is to become an enlightened being, a Buddha, and we can. And then in that, when we serve others, it gives us immense bliss. It gives us immense satisfaction. So there's no hard work as a Buddha. It's just spontaneous, and you're just doing amazing work, trying to liberate all beings. There's also an understanding that all beings are inseparable from who you are. It's like that sort of we are one idea, So it's like, well, if my left arm is strong and my right arm is weak, like, how am I going to get my right arm up to speed? And it's a big job, but it's a blissful job. It's like you're super, super excited to do it. And at some point, the minds who are in, say, nirvana, which is just kind of, I'm blissed out, I'm having a good time, like, I don't know, maybe sort of the Christian idea of heaven, at some point, a Buddha will say, Debbie, Andrea, it's time to level up. Okay, it's time to level up. It's time to become a Buddha. And you can then become a Buddha from nirvana and then become this incredible sort of superhero. And yeah, I think that was really according to the Buddha's teachings, like where you become an angel. I think as in Christianity, if I'm trying to tie in what, a word, maybe it's not appropriate, but a bodhisattva would be like an angel, like a warrior angel. So I think that would be pretty cool. And eventually that's something we all will become. If you have awareness, if you have a mind, we will eventually become that enlightened angel. And then once we're that being, we can never fall back into ignorance. We can never fall back into the lower realms of suffering. And there's no suffering in those places. You don't feel sadness. You don't feel upset when you see the suffering of the world. You feel, wow, this is a great opportunity for me to heal this and to fix it. And then you see things being fixed in the universe because of your deeds and your actions. But you can only fix things if other beings have the karma to be fixed. So that's the thing. A lot of people say, why doesn't God take away my physical pain or my illness? Why am I stuck with this? Well, I'm not going to say God, but yes, of course, the angels want to help us, but we have to then start to plant the karma for ourselves for that healing to happen. And I think when we spoke about karma last, the seeds we sow, we reap. That's what Jesus said, right? So then we've got to plant the karma to be healed. If you think about it, like, does chemotherapy work? Does aspirin always work?
Not foolproof.
No. Sometimes chemotherapy kills people. There's no guarantee that aspirin will take your headache away. Some days it will, some days it won't. Some people it doesn't work on them at all. So it's not the aspirin or the chemotherapy. It's, if you take this, will it work? And I think that's the question we need to ask. How does it work? Okay, because if aspirin worked truly, then it would work for everybody, but it doesn't. It depends on
Can you tie it to the placebo effect, Mark?
Sorry?
Or am I getting, can you tie that to the placebo effect, or am I getting completely psychological here?
I suppose you could, yeah, if you really believe that it's going to work for you. Debbie, you started speaking and then you froze. Hopefully we haven't lost Debbie.
I hope not.
Yeah. Bet you could.
Oh, sorry, Debbie, we missed you there.
No, I'm saying the placebo effect, I'm sure, sorry, I see that
Oh my word, her internet is
the
struggling.
internet is going, but I think the placebo effect would work as well.
It would. This is the thing. If you think it's going to work, then that's a powerful karma. That comes from a karma, to have faith that it's going to work. Sometimes people can take a drug and say, this is not going to work. How's this going to work? So even the idea of thinking that if I take this, it's going to work, even if it's a sugar pill, right? And it's exactly that, Andrea. You can take a sugar pill and cure your illness. I mean, that's been proven. So is it the medicine? Placebo effect proves that it's not the medicine. It's your karma. You can take anything. You can take a stone or a match or whatever and stick it in your mouth and go, this is going to work. And it will. Okay? So it's really up to what's in our mind and our karma for things to work. So it's a good
And
question.
you link it as well to, I think what we spoke about 2 weeks ago, we spoke a lot about like the action part of that as well. You know, where like, sure you can, you know, believe that something's going to work, and I guess manifest that. But I believe that there needs to be some action behind that as well. Like you need to do something. You can't just sit back and just believe that it's going to happen. You need to put some action behind that, whatever that looks like for that particular scenario.
Totally. I mean, and that's another name for karma is action. To you know, action in mind, action in speech, action in deed, like physical action, and those are three sort of karmic paths or ways. But everything starts in the mind, and then you know you think about it, and then you talk about it, and then you do it, right? So then karma really begins in the mind and movement of the mind and what it motivates. I mean, I think that is the sort of scholastic definition of karma, right? So yeah, totally. My teacher always says, if you're struggling with illness, then find somebody else that's also struggling with illness and help them. If you can, you know, even if it's just in your mind, like a meditation. I'm going to send that person healing thoughts. I'm going to wish them well. I'm going to maybe, you know, make them some soup or, you know, do some kind deed for somebody else that's going through maybe something similar to you. I know, like financially, if you're going through a rough stage or you're worried about your finances, then find someone who's worrying about their finances and see how you can help them with their business or with, you know, sit with them, show concern for them, etc., etc. Then we're planting the seeds for our financial situation to change and to improve. You know, otherwise you've got to pray to God and say, please help me, and then hopefully God will help you. Or everything's just good luck, bad luck. Okay? So we've got to decide, is everything good luck, bad luck? Is it all dependent on God, whether I'm going to suffer or not? For me, that sounds pretty weird, like almost like this sadistic person in the sky that punishes some people and rewards others.
Yeah.
You know, so how did Donald Trump get so much money? You know, exactly. So yeah, for me, you know, maybe Trump was a really good guy in his past life who just gave lots of money away and served other people. And, you know, every life we have a different sort of characteristic. And sometimes karma from other lives come into play as well. And so karma you might plant 3 lives or 4 lives ago might then arrive in this life, depending on the causes and conditions. Yeah, it's a big subject, hey? Big
Yeah,
subject.
it's deep.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
we got to kind of work out how reality exists, because if we get it right and we try it and it works, you know, then there's some sort of faith in the process and to not give up. Because for me, the other 2 paths don't make sense. You know, just don't make sense logically. Like, it just don't make sense. And then I asked the priests that I used to, you know, hang out with, like, why does God do all these things? Why is there war in Middle East and, you know, the Holy Land, and everyone's fighting, killing each other? Why? And then I just get told, God works in mysterious ways, my boy. God works in mysterious ways. And that's the sort of answer you get, you know, for all the suffering in the world. I don't know. So we moved into that 6-sided room, and we looked down, and there's golden arrows, and you follow them. And then hanging in the middle of the room is an incense holder, and you light the incense, and that is a permeation of a beautiful sweet smell, because now you've entered a very sweet place, like a beautiful place, where once you start on the Mahayana path, where you are deeply concerned about not just yourself but others as well, that's just like a blessing, like the sweetest fragrance. Okay. And the first perfection, and I don't know if you want to write it down, let's see, is the perfection of giving. Okay, there's 6 perfections. Number 1, perfection of giving. This is the Mahayana path now. The other paths don't play too much importance in this. Perfection of giving. Perfection of morality or kindness, ahimsa, as the Indians would say. Perfection of patience. Perfection of joy. Perfection of stillness, and perfection of wisdom. So you got 6. So this room, 6 sides, represents the first one, which is perfection of giving. And there's 4 different types of giving, which represent the 4 little boxes or packages. So the one is money or material things. That's number 1, that you can give other people. Then the other one is protection. You can give people protection from fear, or perhaps not having a safe place to sleep, or safe food to eat, safe water to drink. Okay, that's the second one. And then the third box, right, is to give love, compassion. So to give love and to want to take away their pain. So that's why there's a Valentine, and then there's medicine in that box. So Valentine is representing love, but not, I don't know why they chose the word Valentine. For me, it's more like not so much romantic love. Okay, so in Buddhism, there's a definition to love. Love is the wish for someone else to be happy. Okay? And
someone else to be happy.
Yeah, that's love. Or yourself. If you love yourself,
Okay.
you want yourself to be happy.
Yeah.
That's if you love yourself. If you love someone else, you want them to be happy. Which is different from romantic love, you know, like I love you, it's conditional, right? You must love me because I love you, and so on. Whereas this love is unconditional. I want you to be happy. Whatever it takes. Maybe, you know, in my instance, being separated and divorced, I want my ex to be happy, which means I got to leave her alone, right? Just get out of her life. Because if I keep trying to get her back, I'm going to make her unhappy, you see? So, yeah, okay? So I've got to leave her alone. And that's going to make her happy. It's hard. If you truly love that person, you got to honor what they want, you know, you to do. And sometimes you got to just bugger off, right? And leave them alone.
I think for me, sorry, can I add to that, Mark? I think for me, like I like the definition of your wish for someone else or yourself to be happy. And I think for me, it goes back to not being attached to that person or how you feel with that person. You know, I mean, I suppose that the attachment theory can go to anything, whether it's money or stuff or whatever, but it's the same with a person. So I don't know, like I take my relationship, like I try not to feel attached to D.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've got a very interesting relationship, and it works. But I quite like that because it's definitely that. Like, I want him to be happy. Like, yeah, that's very important.
Exactly. So, I mean, maybe if it was conditional, you might say, I want a wedding ring on my finger. I want us to live together. I want you to take me to Thailand every year. There's a condition to it.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Which most people expect from a partner.
Hmm.
So,
Yes, and I think what I've learned, and it's obviously a journey, but I feel a lot has to do as well with how much you know about yourself and how complete you feel within yourself, because I
Yeah.
feel that the world's definition of love is, as you say, it's very conditional,
Yeah.
and people look for validity of themselves through the other person that they're in a relationship with. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And then you'll know, like if someone says, do you mind if I go for a coffee with my ex? She's in town, and you're like, I'm not exactly happy about it, but because I love you, I can set you free, and I know you'll come back, so it's okay. It's tough love.
Yeah.
Mm.
So then that's the Valentine. Then the medicine is, I don't want you to, is compassion, right? Compassion then is quite simply the wish to see someone else not suffer. I don't want you to suffer. So love is, I want to see you happy. Compassion is, I don't want to see you suffer. And you might think, and compassion is a doing word. There's difference between sympathy and empathy, and then there's compassion. And compassion is, how can I help you to not suffer anymore? Okay, and that is a medicine. I'm going to give you medicine. I've got the medicine in my box, and I'm going to give the medicine to you. Whatever that medicine looks like, in whatever shape or form, I'm going to help you to not suffer anymore. Okay? So very simple. Love, happiness, compassion, suffering. And that's the heart and the medicine. But still, that's not the highest gift. Okay, those are the first three gifts. There's one box left. And you open it up, and it's the Buddha's teachings in a book. It's the Dharma. Okay, so here I could go outside, and there's some hobos like outside on the pavement, and I can give them money, and I can keep on, giving them, compassionately giving them medicine, money, protection from, harm, etc. But what's the best thing that I can give the beggars on the street?
The teachings, so that they can empower themselves to be able to do whatever it is that they need to solve or do to make themselves get into a better space.
Yeah. To give them the understanding of karma, where things come from. How can you guys get out of your poverty? Is it to get a job? Or is it, wow, maybe if I just shared my bread with someone else on a regular basis, that would really help them. And in return, the karma for you to receive will start. Okay? That's why Jesus was always saying, give and ye shall receive. Okay? Jesus was a karma expert, actually. Kept on saying it. So did the Buddha. Same story. Same kind of story. Give and you're going to get back. And that's like the most important thing that we can teach other people. But to give responsibly, like you don't go and give your house away or stuff you're going to regret. Like, you got to, because that's a negative karma. If you start to regret the things you've given to other people, then that turns into a mess. That turns into negative karma. So give what you can, happy. Don't regret it. Be happy for what you can give, whether it's advice, teachings, money, whatever. But to understand Buddhism, to understand take away the Buddha and just to understand the workings of karma, that is the best gift of all. Teaching them, I don't know, there's a saying, how to fish. but in this instance, it's how to generate more positive karma, positive energy in their life, through that. Does that make sense? Any questions?
But it reminds me of that saying about giving a man a fish and feeding him for a day versus teaching him how to fish, and him obviously being able to do that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely. Because, you'll never end war. I mean, war will carry on, and poverty will carry on. You'll never have enough money to give to end the suffering.
Yeah.
What's the best thing we could do to Russia and Ukraine? Encourage them to love each other, right? To serve each other and not fight. Just give up fighting, because fighting begets more fighting. And we can see that in the Middle East. They've been fighting for thousands of years. It's not going away, because no one decided, hey, why don't we try being kind for a change? Instead of shooting
Does
rockets.
that work in our country, maybe?
Sorry, work in our country.
I said, does that work in our country?
Well, yeah, I
Our
mean,
political parties?
no, look, I don't think it's as severe as what's going on in the States and other countries, maybe. I don't think we're too bad, really, but we're corrupt, right? Then we've got to look at our life. How am I corrupt? What am I doing?
Exactly, yeah.
Am I paying my taxes? Am I dodging this? Am I stealing from somewhere? I've got to clean up my act if I want to see corruption disappear.
Yeah,
Where's corruption coming from? It's coming from me,
yeah,
because I'm seeing it.
exactly.
Projection. Yes. So, this is the thing. We can carry on with the blame game, but at some point we've got to say, well, I can't blame if I'm doing the same thing. I'm a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's hard, because the worldly ways is not that. This is not, it's not the worldly way. Yeah. I think I'm going to stop there, because I need a toilet break, and I've got a class at 10 that I need to get ready for. Anyway, it's a big room to go through. So we've only just got to the first side of the corner of the room. I think the questions and the comments were really spot on. And you can be happy. You can be happy that you have some understanding of this, right? You can spend the rest of the day going, hey, I'm waking up to this idea of karma. I'm happy about it. I realize that this is the truth that spiritual leaders and masters and deities have been going on. This is what they're going on about. And I get it. That's really good.
Not because I'm new to all of this. Is there like maybe a documentary or some reading material, like online stuff, that I could maybe just start to educate myself with?
It's the most difficult question I get, really is. I'm gonna have to think about it, Debbie. It's a hard one to answer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hell of a big study.
Just simple stuff.
Yeah, just keep coming to class. You'll be fine. It'll work out.
Okay.
It's really a big study.
Okay.
I mean, the Lamb Room is about.
Like, I feel it takes some time to get your mind around, like, yeah, like, I mean, I agree, it's helpful to possibly read some stuff. But Mark, I mean, I think I've been coming to classes for a year now. Like, I don't feel like I'm even scratching the surface, but I've definitely got a better understanding than I had at the beginning of last year. So
Yeah.
Just go and plant some seeds in your garden and nurture them and watch them grow, and then you'll understand karma. Okay.
Yeah, I struggle. I'm sorry. I'm wasting your time now because you need to go, but I still struggle with the karma and the suffering thing. Like, I understand it when you explain it, but this morning on my run, I was thinking a lot about it. And like, I'm still struggling with it, like with the concept,
Yeah. Let's talk about it next week then. Please.
Cool.
Over.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.
We're going to do a dedication
Perfect.
prayer. We're just going to end with a
Thank you.
prayer. And the prayer goes, I've generated some great karma by coming to class today, and I want to become a holy enlightened angel for the benefit of all beings. Okay. Gewadi Kewokun, Sunam Yeshe Zozoshin, Sunam Yeshe Lejunwe, Tamba Kunia Dobasho. All right, ladies, have yourselves a beautiful day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
and you too, Mark.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
tuning in.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye, guys. Bye.